The cold wind howled across the desolate field, carrying whispers of an unnatural presence. The carnival hadn't been there yesterday, but now, under the cover of darkness, it loomed. A sprawling, chaotic mess of lights and sounds that twisted the very fabric of reality. A weathered sign at the entrance read Carnival, in flickering red letters, the bulbs pulsating like a heartbeat. Beneath it, a single line scrawled in crimson. Step inside, if you dare. The air was thick with the scent of decay, sugar, and something metallic, almost like blood. The laughter of children was absent here, replaced by guttural chuckles and eerie whispers. The tent flaps rippled as if alive, beckoning anyone foolish enough to step inside. And yet, something compelled you forward. Perhaps it was the lights, or the haunting melody from the calliope that seemed to play itself, notes slipping into dissonance at random intervals. Inside, the tent was alive with chaos. Clowns with razor-sharp teeth and claws longer than daggers prowled the grounds, their painted faces grotesque and glistening with malice. Their laughter was a guttural growl, and their movements, quick, unnatural, and almost insect-like, sent shivers down your spine. They moved faster than you could blink, their oversized shoes a mockery of their deadly intent. A whisper from deep within your instincts told you to avoid their gaze. Looking too long felt like staring into the abyss itself. The performances weren't for the faint of heart. Tigers, sleek and terrifying, roamed freely, their golden eyes reflecting madness. They pounced into the audience without warning, ripping and tearing through flesh as the clowns cheered. Applause and screams mingled in a cacophony of terror. In another act, a man was strapped to a unicycle, his head caged in a grotesque helmet. He was shoved off a ramp through a fiery hoop, his body consumed in flames mid-flight. The audience erupted in laughter as his charred remains crumpled to the ground. The carousel stood at the heart of the madness, but it was no ordinary ride. Its base was crafted from undead lions, their rotting flesh twitching with unholy life. Impaled by thick rods, their agony fueled the very mechanism that kept the carousel spinning. Their snarls filled the air, promising death to anyone foolish enough to climb aboard. If you managed to mount one, you'd barely hold on as it bucked and twisted. And then, without warning, the carousel would speed up, flinging riders into the air. The thud of bodies hitting the ground was followed by silence. Survivors were rare. The mirror maze was worse. It drew you in with its shimmering glass, but once you stepped inside, the entrance vanished. The reflections didn't mirror your movements. They mocked you, smiling when you weren't, blinking when your eyes stayed open. You ran, but the paths twisted endlessly, leading you deeper into despair. If you tried to climb the mirrors, they shattered into jagged shards that embedded themselves in your flesh. Bloodied and desperate, you might notice something lurking banshees. Their wails pierced your ears, promising death in the most agonizing ways. They didn't just kill, they devoured. Your soul, your warmth, your blood. Everything that made you alive, they took. If the banshees didn't claim you, the mirrors themselves would. Each one was a portal to an alternate reality worse than the last. Rivers of molten lava, endless storms with lightning that could incinerate you on contact, or mazes filled with minotaurs wielding rusted hooks. Every escape was another nightmare, and the only mercy Carnival offered was death. The food stands mocked hunger with their offerings. Cotton candy spun with cyanide, pretzels laced with anthrax. Even the games were deadly. Darts weren't aimed at balloons but at eyes, thrown with precision by grinning carnies. And then there was the figure, an impossibly large man in a gray hoodie who roamed between the stands. His shadow stretched unnaturally long, and his smile was wrong, wide, and devoid of humanity. He didn't need the carnival's horrors to destroy you. He preferred hands-on methods, dragging victims into the shadows, where their screams would never be heard. Every corner of Carnival was a labyrinth of horrors. Some attractions were too twisted to describe, their existence a stain on reality itself. You could wander for hours, or was it days, only to find yourself back where you started, your sanity unraveling with every step. The carnival had no end. It was a city of nightmares, its boundaries stretching far beyond what the eye could see. Carnival didn't just appear. It called to you, whispered to the darkest corners of your mind, promising thrills, daring you to defy death. But the moment you stepped inside, it became clear Carnival wasn't a carnival. It was alive, feeding on your fear, your pain, and your soul. And as the last lights dimmed and the music slowed to an eerie hum, the carnival folded in on itself, vanishing as suddenly as it appeared. All that remained was the empty field and the lingering scent of death. Carnival had moved on, searching for its next victims. Where would it appear next? Only the shadows knew.
Thanks for watching. Please like, share, and subscribe to listen to similar stories in future.